if you were trying to get a bigger lower body, like actually have complete and utter lower body development that is superior to everybody you know, this is what you guys got to do. I'm going to go through everything, and you'll notice I'm actually sitting in an ab machine today because I actually believe that abs are very, very highly underrated right now in the fitness industry. A lot of people think it's genetic, oh, it's just diet, abs made in the kitchen. Not necessarily true. So I'm starting with abs here. This is not a lower day. I'm simply showing you guys a hypothetical lower day because I had lower yesterday and I'm sore as hell. But if I were to do a lower day, sometimes starting with abs is actually not a terrible idea, or at least having them in your program. So the sort of formula, the sort of template follows something pretty specific and pretty similar. But basically, for me at least, it is some kind of a weighted ab crunch, doing that for like 1 to 2 sets. And this machine is super, super janky. But the main idea is that you're able to do some kind of weighted ab crunch for like 1 to 2 sets, and finding a way to incorporate that in your training. You're also going to want to do a few other things that I will get to later in the video, but the main idea is that for lower body days, we prioritize quality over everything. So the quality of sets, the quality of work that you're doing is going to absolutely reign supreme over pretty much everything else. That you are producing quality sets, taking them pretty close to failure, and lower body is really, really where greatness is made, because lower body is incredibly hard to train. It's incredibly hard to actually execute lower body sets close to failure. I mean, I'd say abs might be the easiest out of everything, or calves, but it is very, very difficult to actually take a set of hack squat or stiff leg deadlift to failure. It's actually just very, very hard to do that because so many people are simply not capable of training that hard. They're not capable of going through that kind of pain, especially in those heavy rep ranges, you know, training 5, 6, 7 reps, literally brutal. When I was doing lower body, I was doing some hack squat with a client yesterday. He did like 2 plates and a quarter on the hack squat for 7, and it was his first time really being in that like heavy rep range, being in like a 5 to 9 rep range. He's like, holy shit, that took a lot out of me. And I'm like, yeah, when you start to creep up on these heavy loads and you actually have leg muscles that are actually capable of producing a high degree of force, it is very, very demanding on your central nervous system to do that. So when we think about leg day programming, it is very much creating smart programming that is allowing us not to just bombard ourselves with fatigue, but rather create a program that is simple, effective, and then we get out. We get in, we get out of the gym, because leg day is going to be brutal. You're not going to want to camp out here for hours and do a bunch of junk volume if you're actually training right with the right level of intensity. If you're doing 10 sets of 10, garbage, junk volume on the leg extension, that might be a different story. But if you're actually training with deliberate intensity and pushing yourself close to failure, you're going to want to get in and get out, because you're going to be gassed by the end of it. So how do we set up a leg day? What does a perfect leg day actually look like? Well, it comes down to a few very simple things. Mainly, like I was talking about earlier, the idea is that you want to work the different parts of the leg in different ranges of motion. So having some kind of lengthened to mid movement for the quads, and then your shortened position movement is going to be your leg extension, because that's really the only way to actually hit the rectus femoris, that muscle right in the middle of the quad that is actually attached to the knee and hip joint. So by having a fixed hip and actually just leg extending up, that is the only way to actually hit that rectus femoris in a good way. So you're definitely going to need some kind of leg extension in your program. That's one of your 2 must-have quad movements. The second quad movement is any quad movement that hits the quads in the lengthened range. So some kind of a hack squat or a leg press or a pendulum squat where we're actually getting good knee flexion or good knee bend. And that's going to be kind of the second thing that we're going to need for our leg day. So our quads are totally taken care of. I do like to reverse band the hack squat sometimes, just to make it a little bit easier at the bottom, so it's not like disproportionately hard in that stretch at the bottom. So that's something I do like to do a lot. We have our 2 quad movements. Then you can throw in some kind of accessory for the adductors if you want, like where you're fanning in, the adductor where you're closing your legs. That's a really good option to throw in there. And then the must-have for hamstrings, glutes, erectors, lower body really could be some kind of 45-degree extension or some kind of stiff leg deadlift. For hamstrings, the straighter the leg, the straighter the knee, the more hamstring dominant it's going to be. And for glutes, the harder it is in that shortened position or that lockout where you're really like thrusting up and you're loading a little bit more knee bend. That is where the glutes are going to be working more. So based on that information and based on that context, you can pretty much set it up how you like. I personally love to throw a stiff leg deadlift pretty much at the beginning of almost every leg session, just because my hamstrings are such a weak point right now. My hamstrings, my erectors, they're very weak on my overall physique. Just throwing them at the very beginning is important. Then I'll usually move to some kind of leg extension or hack squat, depending on how I have it set up. Some kind of seated hamstring curl or lying hamstring curl, just to get a little bit more hamstring work thrown in there. And then some kind of straight leg calf raise. And that's something that's very important as well with calves, is you want to really hit calves with a straight leg. You want to do something, at least in my opinion, where you're not having a bunch of weight on top of you. So I like a horizontal leg press or something where you're getting a deep stretch at the bottom and actually hitting the calves with a straight leg. That's the most important way to actually hit your calves, because the growth in the gastrocnemius, that very large part of your calf, is going to be significantly greater when you have a straight right way. So a few things to think about when training your legs. That is pretty much what a complete leg day looks like. Again, focusing on intensity and actually prioritizing that over anything else.